If you've had stitches after having a vaginal birth and the pain is getting better and not worse, then you need to watch this video. Because infected stitches are often missed. And by the time some women realise, the wound has already started to break down. In this video, I'm going to show you what normal healing of the wound looks like, the red flags that most women miss, and what to do before it gets worse. Around 9 in 10 first-time mums will have had some form of a cut or a tear after having a vaginal birth. So if that's you, don't be embarrassed. It's really, really common. And the type of tear you have can range from being sort of surface, just involving one layer of the vagina, right through to a really severe tear, something we'd call a 4th degree tear, that will involve the muscles around the back passage and through to the skin as well. So either of these tears can be infected. So if you fall into any of that category, you need to watch this video to find out when you should be flagging up any changes. Before we jump into the video, I'm Remy, I'm an obstetrics and gynecology doctor. I'm also a mother of 2. I post on this channel weekly to make sure that women who are going through pregnancy, birth and beyond have all the information they need to thrive in this season of life. If that's something that interests you, subscribe to this channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about vaginal tears, but I also have a postpartum guide for any red flag symptoms that you should be aware of after the baby's born, and you can download that below. You need to know the signs of infection around your stitches. If you notice that around the perineum, the vulva, that pain is getting worse instead of better, then that could be an early sign of infection. Other signs you want to be aware of are hot to touch, so it feels really warm, swollen, or if you're noticing like a funny smell coming from down below, or if you're seeing discharge from the wound, so green or yellow or even bloody discharge that's coming from the womb. And if the infection is quite progressed, what you might even start to notice is that some of the stitches are coming apart and the area of the tear of the wound is beginning to open up, a little bit like what I've shown on the thumbnail for this video. So as an obstetrician, I see this quite commonly where women will come back into hospital, you examine them and you see that the area looks warm or discolored, that there is some discharge around the wound, and then the stitches are just not holding together because that infection has started to make the wound break down. If you've heard all this and you're hesitating and you're not even sure if that's what you have, then that in itself is a reason to get checked out. I remember after my first baby, I was seen by the midwife on day 5 in my home, and they went through the blood pressure checks and all asking all the questions about my mood. And I said to them, can you please check my perineum? Because I didn't have a handheld mirror. I couldn't get in a position where I could get in front of a mirror to see for myself. And that was their task at the time, to have a look and tell me if there was an infection there or not. But for your benefit, if there's no one that can check for you, you have no means of checking them, make use of your midwife. And if that's not available, then go back to maternity services and make use of that. The first course of action that you'll find once you go to the unit is that they'll examine you. They'll want to see for sure that there's an infection. And they can often take a sample from you as well to find out what type of bug is growing, to make sure that you're being treated with the right antibiotics. And the first line treatment will be antibiotics for about 7 days or even 14 days to treat the infection. And when you're given the antibiotics, it's also really important that you are leaving with a way to come back if things aren't working. So typically I might say to a woman, I want to see you in 48 hours just to make sure that it's actually working, or come back in a week just to make sure that it's healing. If you're at the point where the wound itself has started to break down, there are sort of 2 ways in which that could be managed. So the first way is that it would heal by secondary intention. So what that means is you've had the tear, it was stitched at the time of birth, and now it's opened up. We're going to give you antibiotics, but we're not going to stitch up the wound again and let it heal naturally. And a lot of women are quite surprised because they're left with a gap in their perineum and it's just there. And what you find is up to 4 weeks later, that wound begins to heal. If you think of it like a triangle, it starts to heal, because the body will do that, from the inside towards the outside. The downside of that there's a risk that it can sort of overdo it and produce fleshy tissue that takes a while to heal or never heals and might need a procedure later on. Typically, once that's healed, once that's covered over, activities like sex or heavy lifting aren't going to cause it to open up again. But that process of healing may well be long. And so during that process, you're given antibiotics. And once they're happy that the antibiotics have done the job, then the rest of it just heals. And the expectation is that someone's keeping an eye on you weekly or twice a week to make sure that that healing process is happening. It's not a case of, oh, we're just going to let it heal, off you go, no one's ever going to see you again. And if that's what you encounter, you definitely need to speak up at that point and ask that they bring you back at scheduled times so that they can see that the wound itself is healing. So the second arm, which is coming into more favor nowadays, is what you call a repair or a resuture. So treating with the antibiotics. And because oftentimes when there's an infection, the tissue doesn't necessarily cooperate as well as it would have done if without the infection, it's treating with the antibiotics and bringing you back for a time to stitch you up again. So the stitches that were done at the time of birth or at the time of the initial tear then gets repeated to ensure that the healing process is done. And again, there's evidence that this promotes better healing longer term. And also it doesn't leave you with like the mental load of having a gap in your perineum. And even just as patients I've spoken to, when you tell them, oh, we're going to just let it heal on its own, there is often a lot of like shock and dismay and like, you expect me to go around like this for however long? I can completely resonate with them because that's not necessarily something that you would be prepared for when you're going into a vaginal birth, that a tear could break down or things could go wrong, and it could mean just like a really prolonged postpartum recovery. And I think it's important that if you have early signs of infection, to escalate sooner rather than later. And even before that, it's like, how do you even care for the wound? So I know in practice, if I'm on a busy labour ward shift and I have to come in and do a repair for the perineum, you've just had a baby. You are focusing on potentially breastfeeding, recovering, and then you've got a doctor or a midwife talking to you about aftercare in a way that's really quick, and they're kind of expecting you to have all that information. And then you might go to the postnatal ward and then the midwife over there would be discharging you and then again might be giving you some information, but it's still really early on and you've got so many things going in your brain and that it might not sink in, or you might be unlucky and not have even gotten the information in the first place. So how do you care for the wound? So like I said before, I've created a free postpartum guide for you to flag up any symptoms that for you to check through, and if any of those symptoms resonate, for you to seek help quickly. So in caring for the wound, typical advice is keep the area nice and dry. So you will have leaking of blood and discharge after a delivery that's called lochia, and that's normal. And I do have a video coming soon on the body changes that you might expect to see during delivery. And we'll need to wear a pad. But to keep the area clean, you want to change your pad regularly. Don't leave soggy pads sitting on the infected area. When you're washing and bathing and showering, you can use warm water. Don't use heavily fragrant soaps, and making sure that you're patting the area dry after the fact and not rubbing at it. And because again, that can irritate the stitches, that can cause the stitches to break down as well. So patting the area nice and dry. And if you have time, and I remember doing this after my second baby, just lying on your bed and letting air come through to the perineum, airing it out in a way that's comfortable for you. Don't sit and soak in baths or get it super soggy and super wet. So those types of things are like the basics. And then things about going to the toilet. So I had a friend who had a baby and she was really scared of going to the toilet afterwards. My advice at that point was you just need to make sure that you're eating lots of fruit, even take some laxatives, because what you don't want to do is be constipated and straining against the back passage, which is obviously really closely linked to the perineum, and therefore putting strain on those stitches, and it will just cause a lot of pain. And speaking of pain, making sure that you have regular painkillers, so paracetamol, ibuprofen, and stronger if you need it, but taking those regularly for like the first couple of weeks just as the perineum is healing. And what you should expect is that most will have healed sort of by 2 weeks onwards, and definitely by 4 weeks you would expect complete healing. So even in that 4-week period, if you get any of the signs that I've mentioned, then you need to come back to hospital. And you might be thinking, what about sex? When do I resume sex? So I have a video on postpartum libido, like what happens with your sexual desire after having a baby. And some of it will be linked to the injury that you have at the time of vaginal birth and how you heal after that. But watch that video because that might give you some useful information about what to do next. And if this is the type of conversation that you enjoy, like honest, open recovery tips for pregnancy, postpartum and beyond, then please subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment down below and tell me how you recovered after having a tear after a vaginal delivery, and leave a tip for one of your friends that might be watching. Until my next video.